Alright, let's get started. Let me just make sure my sound is good. That all looks good. Coming through, alright. This week, I'm going to be working on some stuff for devbetter.com. I just did a pull request here, so I'm waiting for this to run its build. But devbetter.com looks like this. And we're working on the back-end system. And one of the things that I want to do is we have a leaderboard that basically shows who has read the most books of certain developer books that we've kind of agreed are the ones we think are worth reading. And I think I have an issue for this already, but maybe not. That would be an easy one to do there too, but no, I don't have it. So let's create the issue. I'm going to create two leaderboards. So create a separate book leaderboard for alumni versus members. So we have members, but if you're a member for 2 years, you graduate to alumni status and you don't have to pay to keep your subscription anymore. You just have an indefinite subscription. So, but the alumni folks, the more senior folks, tend to have a lot more of the books read. So we're going to split it so that new folks just joining have an easier time getting to the top of the leaderboard for members. So let's just say add a separate side-by-side leaderboard for alumni members, distinct from current subscribers members. Alright, so let's do that. Let me get Chatty going up here and see who's with us. Probably no one yet because I haven't been active here for like a month. I was trying to get my Pluralsight course done, and I finally did this week, so that was good. It should be live any day now. A new Kanban Getting Started course. And alright, so that's the task. Let's get this merged pull request in first so we can start fresh. Adding an alumni role. So I needed the alumni role, I didn't have it before, in order to support this task. So I just did that the other day. We're going to squash and merge that. Hope it doesn't blow up the site. This will trigger an automatic deploy. So we'll check and make sure that's working shortly. But yeah, so now let's go look at the code in Visual Studio. And I'm going to go ahead and start walking. Okay, let's get back on master branch and create a new branch for this. So master, get the latest, all good. Let's create a new leaderboard branch, alumni leaderboard, sounds good. I probably want to add some more seed data when I get to doing this because right now I don't think I have enough seed data to really show a separate leaderboard on localhost, but we'll see. Let's run this. And let's see what's happening here. Alright, that looks good. We can log in, we can be an admin, and we can look at the leaderboard, and there's me, and I've read one book. So I want this to be 2 leaderboards, and the list of books can still be here, or maybe the list of books would go underneath. We'll think about that. So let's go to the actual page. So we're going to close all this stuff, keep our tests, and let's go find the leaderboard. So over here we have a leaderboard index page, and this has a little bit of white space that it doesn't need. And it basically says go through all the members and list them out based on their rank. And I just want to duplicate this. So right now I've got a row div that has basically everything. Let's try doing the books down below it. So we'll create a new row div. We'll throw the books in it, just to start with some layout. And my books are going to go in a div like this one. And we'll put them right there. Alright, and that gives me enough room up here. I can do 2 call 6 divs. And just to start, let's just make sure this works just like that, and we'll do nothing else. Hey Rick, how's it going? So this is some very iterative development, where this is what it looked like before, and now I'm hoping it looks basically like that. Alright, so this will be a problem, so I'll have to fix that. But otherwise it looks alright. And like I said, I probably want to add some more people here. And now I need to fix it so the behavior is actually correct, of course. So, but the layout looks okay. Alright, so this rank variable, I need to reset in between here. So there's my var rank equals 1. I just need to set it here. And I guess I can just do this. Or I could create let's create 2 variables. Am I using rank again down here for books as well? Oh, it's book rank. Alright, that makes sense. So yeah, let's just use different variables. That'll be cleaner. So we get rank, we get book rank. Let's change this to member rank and alumni rank. And now everything will be independent from one another and less likely to cause problems. So now this becomes member rank. And this should be alumni rank. And I like that better. We should be able to rerun this. And it should be fixed now. 1 and 1. Cool. Alright, so now to make it work with the different role types. So what if you're a member and an alumni? That would be a problem. I think they ought to be mutually exclusive, but right now there's nothing in my logic that prevents that. So, or maybe an alumni is a member, and maybe that's how I need to think of it. So I haven't fully worked that out in my model yet. Currently I just have some role constants here, and so alumni is a role as a constant, and it's in my ASP.NET roles table, so I can add them to 1 or more roles, but there's nothing to prevent someone from being in both. So I think if you're an alumni and a member, you still shouldn't show up in the members list. And so I'm going to need some logic for that. So let's go look at the code behind for Leaderboard. And currently it says get all the users in the role of members. And then we're going to use that to build my list. And I'm going to want to do the same thing essentially. So instead of users in role, maybe this is users in member role. And I want to do the same thing for the alumni role, which currently none of my seed data has. So I'll have to fix that up too. Hang on. Users in member role, alumni role. Alright. So let's do this and make this alumni role. And we'll get alumni. Good. And then we'll look at these to-dos here in a minute. But we're going to get the user IDs of the users in member role, get a list of their IDs. And then for the members, we're going to go fetch the members that have that user ID. And I want to filter out the ones that are alumni. So this user IDs needs to be member user IDs. Alright, and then we'll do the alumni user IDs as well. Alumni user IDs equals the alumni role, right? And we can just add an AND statement here, or we can do another dot where, either way. Let's just AND it here. And we want to say not contains. I'm wondering if that's what I use .any and not alumni user IDs .any where ID such that ID equals member dot user ID. Right? Now I do want to pull this out somehow so I can better test it, because right now this is baked into a web-based method. There's a lot of, oops, wrong place for that. There's a lot of business logic starting to creep into this web code. But I'll do that when I do the specification, if I can. Okay, so that gets me that, and I need another var alumni. And the var alumni basically should look just like the old one did a second ago, before I added that extra where. So it's going to look like this. Without the AND clause. And it's going to say alumni user IDs contains the member user ID, order by, etc., etc. Include toList. Okay, that should be alright. Alright, and then I need a new alumni collection here. And it can be the same type. Alumni is a new list. And alumni equals alumni.select. This whole thing. Alright. And that should be fine. Let's call this alumni just to be clear. So where they have books. Alright, that's all fine. Now I've got an alumni collection. I should be able to go into my index page and use alumni for the second leaderboard. And we want to give this thing a name somewhere. Maybe here. H4 might do the trick. Alright, and then this becomes model.alumni, and we should be all set. That's probably not the most efficient use of data access code, but we can fix that up once we get it working. Alright, run it. There, we get leaderboard, and it should only be on one side or the other. Okay, good. So I have not added anybody to the alumni role in my test data. So this is how I expect it to happen. Now, as soon as I add this user to the alumni role, then they should only be over here and not over here. We can try that if we go to admin, manage users. Here's our people. Maybe this one is that person. Let's add a role of alumni. That didn't work, did it? Oh, I haven't added alumni to my database here either. Alright, so I definitely need to do the seed data before I can do that. So let's go back and look at the seed data, and let's do a commit first, because we made some good progress on the UI side. So we say added support for alumni leaderboard. need to update local test seed data. Alright, that works. Alright, so when this app starts, that's when it does its seed data. It has seed data for users and for roles. So role manager here, app identity. So here's the app identity DB context seed. That's what I want to use to add the role. So we're going to go to definition, and we can see it adds this user and this user. And where's my roles? Create these roles. Alright, so we want to have another role here for alumni. Reformat. I switched my editor settings so that it's is it buffering? Yeah, for some reason it's showing me having let's bring this up. This is red, which is not generally good. My stream rate is not very high. Let's see if I've got any bandwidth issues going on. I just saw Evan asking if the video was buffering. So, let me see, performance, Ethernet is streaming. Not very fast. It's usually like 4 megabit per second, I think, for me to be streaming. But nothing else is using up the bandwidth that I can see. Let me check my router. Make sure it's all good. I'm curious why that's showing such a small bitrate, because usually if we go to settings, stream, no, output, yeah, my video bitrate is set to 4500 kilobit per second. So why is it only getting 1700? That seems pretty poor. See if I can make my PC the priority device on my network. If I can remember the name of it, it's that one. Alright, so now I'm the priority device, for whatever that's worth. And let's just do a network check. So I'm doing this on my phone here. Now my kilobit per second is 8600. Well, that helped. So Evan, did anything get better here in the last couple seconds? This network check is being really slow. Still going. But the bitrate down here in the bottom right, 9560, that's big. That's twice what I'm saying I want to use. Ha! Here's my speed test. It says the internet might be a little slow. You think? Alright, well, I don't know why that is. We'll start that check again. Hopefully this'll work. Send rate is much higher now, so anybody see is the video working better? I don't want to totally derail the work we're trying to get done here. Alright, so I'm going to seed it with an alumni, and then I want to create a alumni user. So I guess I'll just create another user like this one, and we'll call them alumni, and we'll give them an alumni username. that should all be good. Why are you still red? Failed, failed, failed. Assigned, values never used. Oh, yeah, that's why. This is Alumni User. There we go. And this is Alumni User. And then this is also Alumni User. And so is this. Well, let's put that up here. Admin. This one here. Nobody wants to tell me if it's any better. It turned green now in OBS, so that's a good sign. I don't still have the stream manager running somewhere, do I? No, because that chews up bandwidth. So I think we're good. Alright, why are you red? You're saying you're never used because you should be used there. Email equals the same. Okay, so that all looks fine. I should probably break this whole thing out into its own function so that I don't have issues with reusing previously defined variables. Because you end up with bugs like this one, where you thought you got them all, but you missed one. And that goes away if you create a function to do it. So if I wanted to create a add user function, really all I want to do is give it a username and a role name, or really just a username to do that, and we'll do the roles separately. So let's see what that would look like. Let's see if we can clean up this code. Now that there's 3 of these users, it's probably worth doing. So private void, except this has to be async. So private task, create user, given string username. And I really want to get back that user, I think. So task of application user. Application user. So I would do that. And we would do this code here. And put that in there. And then this becomes username. And this becomes username. And this becomes user. And we just return this, which probably doesn't even have to await, because I'm going to await it outside of this. That needs an await though, and this needs to be private async task. And default password, that could really be, well shoot, I'm making this thing static. So this has to be private static. Default password really can just be this auth constant. No need for that to be a local. And user manager, I need to fetch the user manager. I guess I'll pass it, so that's fine. Right, there's the user manager. And then this is return await. And why are you not happy? Because you need a capital name. Hi Shady, hi Faseni. How's the video going? It was really slow and choppy for some reason, and I think I fixed it. Right, this is green now. Let me know if there's any issues with the video quality. For some reason my network was being super slow. Alright, so we're just doing a quick refactoring because now that we've got several of these users, I think it's going to be easier to do it this way. So I create a user and then I recreate it there. So really I just want to say var default user equals await create user of user manager, comma, whatever default username. And we'll add them to the members role. And I don't really need that. And I don't really need... Do I need the default username? I don't, do I? Do I use that anywhere except for here? Maybe I'll just pass in the username. So copy that. Paste that there. Get rid of that. Okay. And then this... Oops. This becomes the same for here, except we're going to say that you're an admin at test.com. And you get to go into the administrator's role. But not the member's role, right? Only the administrator's role. So I must have changed it at some point because it looks like in my current test code, when I'm running the current data, has somebody in 2 roles. So I must have added them to it. Video looks good. Alright, thank you so much. Background, come and go. Alright, so that's all good with that. So all that goes away. Now I just created an alumni user. So that's... this should be admin user. So my alumni user is going to look just like this. But it's going to be alumni right there. And alumni user right there and right there. And now add them to the role alumni. And we're done. This all goes away. Alright, that looks a little better. So there's our full code. And that should give us 3 different users, same default test, or same default password for all of them, which is this one right here. 1 in each role. Alright. And next, do I need anything else? I guess I want to make that alumni user have read a book, so that he'll show up in the leaderboard. So then we've got to go to... Alright, Evan, yeah, let me know. We have to go to the other seed method. So the seed data here adds a bunch of stuff, adds some books, save changes. I don't think I seeded any books. I think I must have just added them in the course of testing the app. So they're in my database, but when I blow away the database, they're going to go away. So, when I do this seed data, let's add another book, I guess. Well, no, I don't need any more books, but we can add a user book thing. I think members have books read somehow. Let's see what that looks like. Member, books read. If I create a member, I can probably say add a book read. This will add events. Do I have a way in the seed data to create one of these without doing that? Because this is... Oh, okay, I didn't do this the right way at all. Well, I guess that makes my job easier for now. Alright, so normally you would want to encapsulate this collection and not let folks just muck with it. But since I'm letting folks just muck with it, I can take advantage of that here. So when this seed data call happens, it will be seed the database, seed database is here, get the List of questions, don't care about that. Populate test data goes here. Populate users and roles goes here. Alright, so when I create these members, they're not going to have any. Because of the sequence of this, my members aren't going to know their user they're associated with. In fact, I don't have any member data. Which is okay, because when I use the app, the first thing that happens when I log in as somebody is that it creates their member record, and that's how it's supposed to work. But I don't want to have to do that every time. So it's almost like right now that happens in the profile when they register, or when they go to their profile here, and it says, hey, if you're not a member, I'm going to go ahead and create you as one right now. So I could do that inside my seed data, but that seems wonky. Warning, server not responding. What? Are you guys seeing this? Or is that just me? My stream is not being happy today. It didn't show up here though. Test. Okay, that seems to be working. And my stream rate's at 4660, which should be fine. Alright, yeah, this just seems to be something with Chatty then. This must have been a glitch in the matrix for Chatty connecting to Twitch. Alright, so my question here is, how do I create a member in my seed data if I really need to? And the answer is, for now, I'm going to just not worry about it. And I'll think about that more for a moment while I go nuke my database. So we're going to go find my database for whatever the heck this thing is called, which should be connection string www.web.app. Which is betterweb.app, and I'm just going to drop that whole thing. Poof. And then there's a way to get to a terminal here now, right? Where's that at? Command line. There's that. That's not really what I wanted. Isn't there a built-in? Like, I don't really like the package manager console anymore. But I thought they had a better terminal now that we could create. I haven't used it enough to remember it. Is it this? Yeah, there we go. So that's what I want. So now in here, I can go and create my database. And to do that, I have a script. Just to remember to do it right, I have a script on my README file here. And it says, hey, do a .NET EF database update with all this stuff. And since I nuked the whole thing, I gotta do this one also. So let's run this from the web project folder, which is where I'm at, so that should work. Hopefully. And then the other one says run this other one from the infrastructure project folder. So .NET EF blah blah blah. Okay, so that worked. Go to infrastructure, run this one, and that should work. And if we look at program.cs, just to confirm that we'll run the seed data every time, it will. So at one time I had an if statement around this that checked the environment, but that was causing more problems than it was solving. So now it runs that every time, and it will say that it's seeding, and we should be able to see the work happening. So we'll run, and we get, that was fast, but we get this, and it shows us what it's doing here. And you can see these inserts happening. So here's our insert into roles. Here's our insert into, here's our insert into ASP.NET User roles. So it's doing what it's supposed to. Alright, so now I should be able to log in, and with admin that should still work. And I should be able to see, if I go to the leaderboard, it should be empty. But if I go create my profile, it should create the record for me and blow up because I don't have a mail server running. So let me just fix that real quick. That's a one-time error that I always get because I forget to run this thing. But it still created the record, so it all still worked. So here's SMTP for dev. So now that's listening on port 25. So if I refresh this, it's now created the thing, so I can edit this. And we'll say this is admin user save. And of course it wants what? This URI for webhooks. Invalid request. That must be one of my settings. Right? Let's look at that some more. So it wants to do a domain event to say that and hit base webhook and say that I updated my profile. I don't really want that to fire off that webhook right now. So what's the easiest way for me to ignore that and avoid this error in development? Let's go look at basewebhook.cs. And this thing is going to go and get that URL, and it's going to try and send. And the error says that it failed in HP client post async, which might be on line 47 right here. So it didn't like this webhook URL that it got. Why is this all red? It doesn't need to be async. Alright. Let's make it not async. Trust that Visual Studio is not leading me astray. And now that that webhook's going to fire every time, but it's going to fire after it saves. So I can also just ignore this error and say, you know what, that's cool. I understand that that you're not happy about that, but you did actually save my stuff here. So that's the part that I care about. Now I can go edit my books. I can say I've read this old book that I wrote a long time ago. It's going to blow up with a webhook issue also here, but it did save first. So again, I can ignore the error and come to the leaderboard, and the book is there, and it's read by one member, but that member is not a member or an alumni, so it doesn't show up. But I can go find myself here, and I can add me as a member here, and add that role, and it fires off the webhook thing again. So I got to figure out a way to not have that happen constantly, but now it shows up. Alright, so now let's add an alumni user. So for that I need to log out, and then we're going to log in as alumni with the same password, and that worked. And we're going to go to my profile, and it's going to say I'm not a member. I know why, because the admin has to make me a member first. Alright, fine. So we're going to go here. Oh wait, I know why. Alright, that's an actual bug. Alright, let's try this again. Log in, go to my profile, admin. That's not what I want. Log out, log in as an alumni. It's an extension. Simon says, Clivar says, I had a question about specifications. The reason why you left out as no tracking is an option would be quite handy for bulk operations. The resource don't need to be persistent again. Yeah, you're right. add an issue for that, and we'll get that added. That would certainly be an easy one, I think, to add. Let me think about that. Where would I apply as no tracking? I think that can be done. Yeah, I think that would work. So yeah, clivar. If you don't mind, just add that as an issue. Alright, so we want to log in as alumni. Sorry, what was I trying to do? I want to log in as alumni, find the page that was giving me that error, so I can then go in and fix it. No, I don't want to do that. So when we go here and we go to my profile, that page is user profile, and it's locked down to only members with that role. So when I go to pages, user profile here, it's locked down to say you must be in administrators or members. And it really should be administrators or members or alumni, which I have a thing for. So it's that one. So I'm going to rebuild. And there's probably more than one of those, right? There's probably a few places where that's the case. This is an example of having kind of a primitive obsession on roles. Because you have to go and find all these things and update them. It would be better if I had a better abstraction for that access. I have an article called Favor Privileges over Role Checks that talks about this. It's an old article. But it's basically the problem I'm running into is that so far, here, so far I'm just using roles as constants, just directly in my pages to check to see who should have access. And because I'm adding a new role, alumni, I have to go back to every single one of them and muck with them to see if they're right or not. My internet is being way slow, so my streaming is probably not great, but it still says I'm green, so hopefully you guys aren't noticing. But just loading this article was super slow. So if I had a privilege for something like, accessing the profile, then I could just go to that privilege and I could specify in one place here that, hey, if you're in the role author or alumni, then they would have access. And then I could use the profile access privilege for all of these things that are under profile, right? Books, avatar, index, whatever. Like right now I'm going to have to go to every one of these and change each one to be this, which is just, violating the don't repeat yourself principle and, causing us problems here. So, it's likely that I'm going to have bugs where I forget one of these places that I need to do this. And then somebody will have to tell me, hey, I tried to do this and it told me I had to sign up again. What's up with that? Which is not a great user experience. Or I have to test it extensively to make sure it works. But I have to test it with every different combination of roles, which, again, is just more work. So what I need is a policy here, and that's another thing I could use that's built into the framework. There's ASP.NET has support for policies, and I could have a single policy for profile access. And maybe I'll add that. So let me put that in the ASP.NET Core Identity policy. I'm going to put this as an issue for me to address. So policy based auth. That's good. Let's go back here. Let's create a new issue. New issue. Use a policy for auth access to profile, etc. So see this. Address authentication for everything under WAC pages, WAC profile to eliminate duplication of authorize attribute. Alright, so this is pretty much a technical debt issue, but also it would be a good place to have an example of how to use policies, because I don't think I have any of those anywhere. So when people ask, I can point them at this once I build it. We'll reference this to See also that. Alright. So now let's go back to our code. We now should be able to get to the profile. What we're trying to do is get multiple people to have books. And specifically, I want an alumni to have read a book in order for this to work. Unable to connect to server. That's fine. Kill that. Let's try again. Alright, now it's good. Alright, who are we logged in as? We're logged in as alumni. We go to profile, and it should show us the profile. And while we're at it, should we fix the issue with the firing of the events and the webhooks? I suppose I could make it so it just silently swallows it in development mode or something. Let's go to... I can't see admin stuff at all. Let's just try and edit a book. This is still going to give us an error, but let's at least see if the leaderboard will work. So we get that, boom. But now we go to leaderboard. Still doesn't work. Oh, because leaderboard is also the same policy. So over here, we gotta go to leaderboard, and it has administrators, members. We want that to be the same. Administrators, members, alumni. So close. Alright, so that killed the web server. Let's run it again. And we're here, and we're still logged in as alumni. We can go to the leaderboard, and ta-da, look at that, we're there. This no name provided is what it shows if they haven't set their name. So if I go in here, we edit this, we say we are Alumni User, and it's going to blow up with a webhook, but that's okay. We go back to the leaderboard, it works. Alright, and they don't show up in either place. Now let's do one more with the member. So we're going to log out, and our member is test at Microsoft.com for whatever reason, I think. Log in. Nope. What did I call that? Seed data, seed, demo user at Microsoft. That one. And that's just a legacy construct because I copied this originally from eShop on Web, which is a Microsoft sample. Same password. Log in. Let's go to your profile. You're gonna blow up with a webhook. We'll edit this and just be like standard member. Save. Go to my profile. Edit a book. Add that. Go to the leaderboard. Standard member, admin user. Alright, so it worked. And they don't show up under alumni. And this shows 3 members have read it. So this is all working. So let's commit this. So let's see, got leaderboard working with alumni users, updated seed data to include alumni user, fixed auth middleware to allow alumni to profile leaderboard. Alright, so we'll commit all that. And then let's see if we can clean this up a little further, since we have plenty of time and I've allowed some technical debt to creep in here. So close that, and that. That looks fine. Alright, so here's our to-do. And this is where we're doing a lot more work than perhaps we should be inside of one onGet method. So really all I want to get out of this is 2 lists. One list of users, one list of members. And to do that I'm having to do a whole lot of work, and none of it's using a repository. Part of that's because I'm working with the user manager, which is a separate built-in construct for getting users that doesn't use my domain, and then I'm using app.db context instead of using a repository. So it's a lower level way of doing this. And part of that's because I didn't build this code originally. So someone else that was just learning how to code wrote this initially. So there's these to-dos in here to kind of clean it up. And that's what I guess we'll see real quick if we can do. So let's go look at our existing specifications to start with. And we have a member by user ID spec, which we also have one that has the books read in it. So if we get members by user ID, will that give us a single member? That's for a single member. Can I use this to get all the members the way this thing wants? Let's see, this is the wrong page. This is the one I want. Alright. So let me just pin this so I can not lose it again. There's space in a second file name in the spec folder. That's good to know. Where is that? Oh yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Good catch, Shady. Let's clean that up real quick. Okay, thank you. Might as well format it. We're using 2 spaces per indent now. Alright. So when I say give me all these members with no tracking, where that, can I use that spec here? I don't think I can. If I want to say, if I want to pass into a repository a specification that says give me members, where they're in this list of IDs, that's really what I want, right? So I want a specification for some list of user IDs. So this is member by user ID spec. I think I want another one of these that takes in a list of user IDs, right? So I'll just copy this and say members having user IDs, having user IDs spec. And now instead of this being a string user ID, this will be a list of string user IDs. And so will this. User IDs equals user IDs. Now this could really be an enumerable. And this could really be a new list. But actually that could go right here. And that should do the trick. And fix this up. Alright, now my query just becomes the same query that I have here with this. Query.where member such that user IDs contains member user ID semicolon, and that should work, right? We can pull that into its own specification. And we can come over here. Now I don't have support now for where it's in this list but not the other list, but I'll work on that. Now it needs to have the books read as well. So let's go ahead and include that for this. So members having user IDs spec with books. And this other one already had a with books, so I can just steal that code right there and stick it right there, and then make sure this matches this. Alright, so then that's good. And I may as well put all the order by stuff in there too, because that's always going to be the same. So Over here, order by this, then this, then this. Include that. So let's just pull those three things into the spec. And shoot. Let's rename this. And I lost my clipboard, so copy that again and add it in here. Alright, why is this not happy? You're a member. So query is of type member. So we should be able to do order by descending of member. Member is not null. Dereference possibly null. Okay, so this is just a null issue, which I took care of over here with nullable disable. So I need to do maybe just a bang. That, or is it books read that might be null? It's books read that might be null. Okay, maybe. So you're okay with that. First name and last name might be null. And if they are, I really want them to just be an empty string. So will that work? Yes. Books read, that one should never be null. So this seems like it's good. Alright, so now we've got a specification, finally. Let me verify what my repository looks like. So I use a few different types of patterns for this. So this is using method-based generics. So I just need any old iRepository to be passed in here. So we'll do that. Still keeping the DB context for now. And I like the underscore. And I don't need this. Alright. So alumni here, this is the one that we can easily change. So we can say instead, var alumni equals await underscore repository dot list async with a specification. Alright, I gotta pass that in. So var alumni spec equals new. And what do we call that? Members having user IDs with books spec, which it finds. And it wants a list of user IDs. Well, I have a list of alumni user IDs. And then that's done. And then I just pass in the alumni spec here. And now that's done. And all this goes away. Now the members one, I can do the same thing. The trick is I don't have a way to exclude the other one. Is there a reason why I use a public property for user IDs and specification? Let me see. Mostly just because I think of specifications as value objects. And so if somebody wants to be able to inspect it and see what was passed in, you can. So this one, yeah, I don't see any need for this. No, yeah, I don't see a need for that. That must have been on whatever I was copy pasting. So this can be that, because nothing's going to look at it. Use link should work. Yeah. So I could either make this a list or I could just make this use links for it, and so that should work. Now later on, if I for some reason needed that user ID list, I would be fine to put it there. It's not, I don't think it's hurting anything, but since I'm not using it, I'll get rid of it. I pulled it from here, so I don't know why this one has it. This one's showing it's got one reference, so at some point I did that, and I'm going to use the same logic and say I don't need that. In fact, it wasn't even being used. So let's verify with a build. Nothing needs it. That looks good. Okay. So let's go make sure that we didn't break anything over here. And then we'll use the same logic for books and for other stuff. So I just built. I'm going to do that again. But I did. And Control F5. And the leaderboard still works. So we're going to say that worked. Alright. So let's get rid of this code here. And let's do a quick commit. And say we added members with user ID spec to clean up leaderboard. We'll commit that. Now we have two other places we're using appdb context. This members list here and this books list here. So let's do the books one first because that should be easier. Pretty sure books doesn't even require a spec because it's not doing anything. I could add a spec to do the include and everything else though. So let's do that. So books by ID with members. That gets me a book. I really just want books. Books by members who have read, I think, right? Naming these can be a challenge, but this is books by member read count with members who have read. We'll say something like that. And copy that into here. It doesn't even need an ID of anything, so it's going to get all of them. But I want the include, and I want the order by, then by. I could figure out a way to do the as no tracking, as was suggested. But currently I don't think... Viceni, you're still here. Viceni, we didn't add as no tracking into our spec, right? So this isn't something we can just specify in our specification yet. But I think that would be something we could do. Alright, so here we're just doing this. And query dot order by. And can I just do the include with the chain? I think I can. There. Books such that this is a book. Remember who have read maybe null here. Yeah, but I'm including it, so it won't be. Alright. I can't do it that way, huh? Alright. Order then include. So yeah, this needs to still be queried out. I can never remember which ones I can't do that with. And I'm going to say that that's going to be good. And book.title, I guess we'll just do empty string. Alright, that looks fine. We'll move it to its own place. And then we'll use it over here. And we'll say var book spec equals new. I don't want to type all that out. Oh wait, I've got the using already. That's okay. So I shouldn't have to type it out because I've got the using, but well, I failed to do that anyway. So this is books by member that, right? And var books equals await repository dot list async with the book spec. And the only difference is it's no longer going to be as no tracking, right? I did not capture that in here. No support for now, we can add that. You can change everything noticeable, but it depends which version of the package you have. Alright. I'm not sure if I have the latest or not. So, alright, let's comment this for now. And come over here and just see. Can I do that? Yeah, it really doesn't like that because the then by, it's the then by that's killing us, because once we hit the then by, we're into a different tree. So that's the sequence, but I could put include first. Pretty sure that would work. I just can't put it after a then by. Then by is what kills it. So we do this, and we get rid of this. That should work. Right? Nope. Include doesn't work either. Nope. Alright, well, I'm just going to leave it the way it was with 2 queries. Like that. And that works. And maybe I need to update to a more current version of the spec. We'll check that. Alright, let's test it. We should still get our list of books. There's only one of them. But we click Leaderboard, and there's our 1 book. So that still worked. So let's go here and delete our code. And we don't really need this local. We can just assign the property right there. Get rid of that. I don't know if I still need this nullable. I mean, I do for here, but not for down here at this point. So let's try shrinking that. New version, doesn't matter, it'll even work after a then. Alright, well that's good to know. Let's do a quick update of that then. Let's do a commit and then we'll do an update. So git, say, adding books by members who read spec, replacing DB context call with repo in Leaderboard. Commit. Alright, back here, let's manage NuGet packages for solution. Let's see what our specification version might be. Oh, I got a lot of updates. Most of these are updating 501 to 502. That's pretty trivial. Where's our Ardalis specification? That's not there. Ardalis specification 4.1. Latest stable is 4.1. So it says I'm on the latest, I believe. Right? Latest stable version is installed. So I don't know if it's any. It's the then by that I think was killing it. But it wasn't working here. All the same, while we're in here, let's see if there's anything here I need to consolidate. So let's make these all 502. Can let me do that? Oh, there you go. Alright. So install. I accept. And we'll repeat as needed. Accept. Yeah, come on. Do I have to do all 3 at once? Is there a way to do that? No? Humph. Come on, stop rolling back. Alright, so basically it's infrastructure and web for identity and EF. So go here, look at infrastructure, ASP.NET Core identity and EF. We want these to be 502, and 502, and 502. And probably these as well, but I'll leave them alone for the moment. And we'll come over here. and ASP.NET Core EF 502, Diagnostics EF 502, and Tools. Let's just build everything and hope it works. We have a lot of features not published. Alright. That's mostly because I mostly publish things when I'm doing these streams, and I haven't streamed about specification since like November, so that's probably the issue. Alright, package downgrade for identity stores. This one. Alright, so you can be 2 and you can be 2. Let's hope that helps. Extensions, identity stores, from 502 to 500. Alright. I don't see them here. So where is it getting the issue? All the 500s are now 502s. Show me this. Oh, it's in tests now. Alright. Gotcha. That's what I missed. So in here, I've got to update these things as well. Do I only have the one test? Usually I break it up. So here's EF Core in memory. That's a really old version. Maybe there's a 502? Let's go back to NuGet for the solution. Okay, you're happy. Happy even though I can't build. Updates. Alright, let's just do manage packages for tests. Manage NuGet packages. Alright, we'll just have to update all the things, I think. Alright, you're not going to let me update though, why? So you think you're good, but this says that I could update you. Alright. So why is that grayed out for everybody? Right, there is a 502, so let's try that. See where that gets us. That helped. Alright. So then while we're at it, let's go in here and update the other things. Now it'll let us. So I'll update that. Danielko, how's it going? This is the riveting exercise of updating NuGet packages that everybody loves to watch. I'm good. Sweet, I can't wait to update NuGet packages. Apparently, ASP.NET Core MVC testing can go up to 502 also. Let's do that. If you guys have not used this report generator package here by Daniel Palm, or Palmy, or Palma, I'm not sure. Let's just say Palm. It's really awesome. So, check it out. What it lets you do, if you have Azure DevOps, or I've just used it mostly with Azure DevOps, but it generates HTML reports of code coverage and other things. But the really cool part is if you have separate projects for your unit tests, your integration tests, your functional tests, whatever, they'll each generate their own coverage report, right? And so you might find that you have 60% coverage in unit tests and 30% coverage in integration tests, but you can't reason about that in any productive way. Right, you can't say, well, I have 60 and 30, I must have 90 coverage total. Like, no, because that 30 might be covering the same thing that you covered with your 60. So you really just have 60. What this thing does is it'll combine those different coverage reports correctly and tell you what your overall coverage is. And it's really nice. I'm not using Azure DevOps here to show it to you, although I think I could just do it all at the command line. But definitely, if that sounds interesting to you and you care about code coverage at all, you can check that out. Alright, let's see. I'm Let's get these last couple while we're here, and we'll do a commit. Alright, we're in the process of adding a feature, and in the midst of adding that feature, we're doing some refactoring. And that refactoring is basically getting some DB context stuff out of my Razor page so that I can keep it at a higher level of abstraction. Alright, so that's all good. Let's run it one more time, make sure nothing's broken. Looks good. Leaderboard still works. Nice. So now let's go commit some code. Updated NuGet packages, commit. And may as well push this up so it's not just on my machine. And we're good. We are good. Alright. So, don't need NuGet or CSproj or this or this or this or this or that. So we're back here, and we really have, let's see, these things might be nullable. So we can just say question 0. Will that work? That will not work. Be applied to type int and bool. But now, still not happy. Books read may be null here. Yeah, I know. Do I need to Elvis operator it? That works. Alright, good. So we'll take that same expression and put it here. Alright. See if we can use a spec. Well, we are using a spec. Okay, so we get our list of our different users, and we got a book spec, and our member spec with books, and a book spec with members, and that's all working. The next step is to see if we can get rid of this one. And so there's two ways to do this. We could just get the member list with all of the alumni in it, using the same spec that we use here. That'll work, but it'll give us too many people. But then we could filter it after we brought it back. So once I have this alumni list, I could filter the members with that. So let's try that and see if that works. So let's first introduce our error. So var member spec equals, basically we just want this code right here. We'll comment out all that. We'll say this is the member spec, and this is members, and this is the member spec, and this is the member user IDs. Alright, so if we run with this, what's going to happen is we should see the same user in two places if they happen to be both a member and an alumni, which I'm not sure anyone is right now, but this alumni user could be. So let's log out, log in as the admin, go admin, manage the user, find the alumni, who's right now just an alumni, edit them, add a role for the member, add that role, ignore that, go here, and now you see alumni user shows up here, and they show up here. Which, trust me, they didn't before, so we've just broken it, the horror. So now we need to add our filtering back in, and we can say here, members equals this, dot where that, but also where they aren't in the alumni list. And at this point, they're the same type, right? This var is a collection of member, and this is a collection of members. So since they're the same type, we can just say like where not in, or what have you, not contains, not any. So we can say and alumni dot none. What's the opposite of any? Dot all, dot any. I guess not any is usually what I do. But not, I've seen people do none as an extension method. Not any a such that a dot, we'll just say ID match. Alumni.id equals m.id. Not the user ID, the actual ID. Oh, you're a DTO at this point. Alright, well, let's do the select later. Do that, and then do the select. Alright. There we go. So members equals members where this and not that. And then select and then toList. So that ought to fix it. And if it does, I can get rid of the DB context out of this Razor page, which was the goal. So here, alumni is on the right, they are not on the left. We have fixed it. Is that the most efficient way to do it? Probably not, but this system gets very few users, so it's okay in this case. And it's easy code to maintain and understand. I don't think I need any of this anymore. So I get rid of all the hacks around that, and notice app.db context is now gray, telling me I can get rid of it, which was the goal. So this low-level infrastructure thing is gone. I no longer need this. I can probably get rid of this infrastructure data, hopefully. We'll find out in a minute. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And now, yes indeed, we can get rid of our infrastructure reference. And this whole thing just got a little bit simpler and cleaner. Which makes me happy. To do write a link join, I don't think I'm going to do that. I would think about having a different way to deal with this user manager intersection with members, but I haven't addressed that yet, and I don't think this is the place, so we'll clean this up. Let's see, refactored to remove app.db context. That's pretty much all we did, right? Commit that, push that. Let's go make a pull request. So close down our stuff here. Come back to issues. The issue we were working on was create a separate book list, 188. Pull request, create that. Fixes number 188. Add alumni leaderboard. Fixes number 188. Create the pull request. Here's my set of commits. Let's just take a quick look at what we're doing here. We renamed that one, and it went there. We created a new books by member. That looks fine. We can mark these as viewed. We refactored that. We add a new specification to pull this out of the Razor page. We cleaned up a whole lot of NuGet packages. We made it so our seed data creates users and includes an alumni user. And I refactored, or what I do, I reformatted base webhook and actually changed it at all. Added NuGet packages, added a new leaderboard, fixed up the authorized roles allowed for a bunch of these. Same thing. Fixed up the NuGet packages on tests, and that is everything. So that looks good. Approveify. Approve. Can't approve their own pull request. Man. Who's on here? Shady, you still here? Hey Shady, go approve my pull request. I don't really need it to be approved, but I think Evan left. Yeah, what's my total diff on lines of code? Plus 185, minus 129, so not too much added. Shady, would you mind approving my pull request? If it looks good to you? Because that way I can avoid the ugly red. As an administrator, you may override your own rules. Meanwhile, let's look at this test here. What we didn't do is write any tests for those new specifications, which I would like to do at some point. Oh, Evan's still here. Sorry, I was looking for you under E, Evan. I wasn't looking for you under brimming. But yeah, either one of you, I think have access. Actually, probably anyone. This is a public thing, so I don't know. Probably any one of you watching can go out here and approve it. But we'll also make sure that this finishes. So this is a good Ask Me Anything time. Anybody want to ask why I did things the way I did, or have a suggestion for how we could have done it better or differently? Or have something totally unrelated you want to ask? As soon as this is done and I merge it, I want to work on this other issue that should be really quick, which is display the user's avatar on their details page. So this should be like a super quick one, just to kind of show, I don't know, the process of updating stuff one more time. So if you're a new developer, this one's like a, how to make a simple change to a site type of deal. Alright, I got a green check. So the build succeeded, and I got no reviewers. I don't think I have a rule that says I need to have a reviewer, so I'm going to wait 10 seconds. I'm going to hit the big green button. So if you want to review it, you got to be quick. My pull requests are almost one for one with my issues. This is pull request number. Oh, never mind. I forgot. Pull request numbers are the same as issue numbers. Never mind. Alright. So, yeah, we're going to confirm this. And we can delete our branch. And then back on my local, I can go back to master. And then I can pull in everything. Okay, and we're back on master. Now, meanwhile, this should be triggering a build and a deploy. So this is doing a publish now out to production. So anyone that is an actual DevBetter member will see this new leaderboard appear. I have not yet put people in the proper roles, because that role didn't exist until very recently, like right here. So a little bit ago. But once I do, then it should start to work. Alright, so let's go back to issues. That one went away because it was closed, so 188 is gone. Now we're going to do this display user avatar on user details page. So we come back here and we run the thing. And wait for it. We get here. We go to the member list. And here's our members that we've seeded. And if we click on a member, it'll go to their profile. And here is their info, but it does not have their avatar, their photo. So this photo is not there. So I am admin. Let's go here. Let's edit this profile. Let's choose a file. Let's go find a picture that looks like it might work. Photos, Steve. How about that one? And we'll save it, and it's going to blow up with a webhook, which we now realize we don't care about. We'll go back to members, and there, look, there's my photo. If I click here, look, it's still not there. But I want it to be, so that's the goal. I want to put that thing on this page. So this is under whack user, whack details. So first thing we do is create a branch. New branch. Ardalis, user details, avatar. And we close all the things. And we'll go back to user, pages, user, profile. No, it's not profile. Details. Alright, so index has it. Index has this right here. For each member, format this and display it. So this is my image displayer thingy that I want, with a DB avatar small, which is not quite what I want. And on profile, I did add it on profile, so it looks like that, and it's using just DB avatar without the small. So I think I want that, but without the href. So let's grab that, and let's go to details. And I don't know where I want to put it yet. I know I don't want it to be, I don't know, what is it going to look like in the header? Probably awful. But let's just see if this will work. Does my model even have an avatar URL? Probably not. User details view model. Whatever that is. So user details view model is a user details view model. Let's go to definition. You're here, but you don't have an avatar URL, which I need you to have. So let's just add it. Public string avatar URL. Is that what I called it? Probably not. It's details. Details what I want. This one. Yes. Avatar was what I called it. Alright. So details model, pages, user details, dot model. Why are you still red? That's that, which is that. I did it. Oh, is the wrong one? No. It's right there. User details view model. That's the whole thing. Avatar URL. From a member, I can set this to be avatar URL equals member.avatar URL. But it's not there. So where did I put this thing? On here, I get this avatar URL, just drop it on the model. Must not be where I thought it was. Because I just build it from their application user ID, that's why. Okay, so it doesn't get stored on the member. I don't really want this to be duplicated though, do I? Do I store that anywhere yet? Let's see, I can get rid of this. So it's a easy thing for me to do. I can just copy paste this code and it'll work. And drop that into the user details. And then I can worry about the duplication later. So let's try that. Let's go into the user details view model. Avatar equals that. User ID is member.user ID. ID. Right. Okay. To do get URL format string from central config location, which I may already have. So I seem to recall I did that already. But for now, I just want to see if this works. So I'll set that. We'll set that there. Come over here and make sure we're looking at details. Has a model.avatar URL, and that's because it's not on there. Maybe I don't want it to be on the user details view model, but I did it, so let's just keep it there for now. Details view model dot. Now you're happy? Now you're happy. Alright. Because this model was the actual page model, the code behind, not the user detail view model. Alright, okay. So that works. It builds. Let's go find out if we look at members. And there's that. And I say click details. And look, there it is. With its goofy little spin thing. Alright, so that looks awful. And I want to reformat that somehow. But how? How should I reformat it? Like, I think this should be in its own box and just say, you know, profile or whatever. Or photo. So if it's not null, or if it has a value, show it there. I don't really have a way to do that. To know if it has a value. So we'll just show it every time. We'll say photo, and then show it. But it needs to be its own whole card, actually. So hang on. Let's undo that. And this whole card I want to copy. Where's the end of this card? It is that. Alright. Alright, so that, then get rid of the image here. Keep this as photo. I really don't need it to spin like that. That's a little too much, but let's see, this actually goes in the card body. So get that out of there. Here's our card body. It just needs a div here. Div class equals card. I guess that's where it should go. Class equals card body. Maybe there? I can get rid of that. See what that looks like. Alright, so there's the photo, and it's in an extra box. Info. I don't need that extra box, though, do I? Inspect. I'm a really awesome front-end developer, if you can't tell. But yeah, that's the card. I have a card. A card header, card body, card body. I don't need that much nesting, so I think this inner card body can go away. And I just need to drop it right into the card body, maybe. Right? So authorize. So what? Only. Why do I have this ASP authorize on here? That doesn't belong there. That was supposed to only be on the address. Copy that. Shipping address. Right, okay, so you've got it. Alright, but this doesn't need it. So we just get rid of all of this. Okay, and then we have a card body. I think we can get rid of both of those. And both of those. And then see what this looks like. That's better. Now it's a circle, at least like it's supposed to be. Alright, but why are these way down here? They're supposed to be over here. It must be a div off. So my cut pasting must have messed up a div. So let's see. This card has this header and then closes there. Okay, that's better. Let's see if that fixes it. Good. Alright. So that's kind of big and I don't need the spinny thing, but that's okay. I forget what makes it spin, but we'll leave that for now. Obsessed Wolf. I'm just a high school person. I want to start a YouTube channel related to tech. What topic would you prefer me to take? Well, if you want a lot of people to watch it, anything that's web and JavaScript related is probably popular. More so than C# and .NET, which is more what I focus on. But otherwise, whatever interests you. You know, if you like web apps, do that. If you like database stuff, do that. If you like mobile apps, do that. And the most important thing is that you're having fun and it's something you're interested in. I think we're done. I think this works. I can worry about getting rid of the spinny thing later. That's just a CSS change. So let's check this in and get it deployed, and then I want to test to make sure I don't break anything. So I'll go over here. Let me say, oh wait, before we let's clean up that that string that we're copying before we totally finish. So let's see, added profile image to user details page. Good. Commit. Push. And Danielko, I just saw you're asking what version of Bootstrap am I using. That is a good question. Probably easiest to answer that from here and or here. Refresh. JS, CSS. CSS will show me Bootstrap, right? Bootstrap is 4.3.1. I don't know what version Bootstrap is on these days. Is it much past 4.3.1? There's a 5.0 beta, so 5.01 beta, yeah. So 4.6 seems to be latest. So yeah, 4.3.1 is probably close enough, I'm guessing, to work. I'm not going to mess with it right now in any case. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to do was find everywhere that I'm creating that user image stuff, and do it in one place. And either use a constant or use a configuration for it. Yeah, 5 is probably breaking. So let's go back to this. Go to here, go to definition, and this bit. So where am I doing this string? How many places? Alright, so I have a constant for that, I was right. But I'm still using this other thing in 1, 2, 3, 4 different places. So I want to use that constant instead. Now I don't know of a way to create a reusable format string that uses string interpolation. If anyone knows how to do that, that would be cool, but I'm pretty sure it's impossible. So when I switch to using this format string, I also have to switch to using string.format instead of saying $string. But let's do that because I only want to have this be in one place. And for now I'm fine for it to be a constant. If it ever needed to really change, I could always put it into a config setting, but I think we're okay with it being here. So let's see where this is used, if anywhere. Right there, string.format, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's just straight in a view somewhere, which I saw that earlier. Okay, I don't really like having that right in a view because it's a lot of logic to have right in a view. But I can take the string.format here, that line of code, and I can do that in other places. So in here, and in here, right, this can be, it's going to let me edit inside this preview like that. It's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever tried to do that before. Alright, so we'll do it there. Where's my find? Let's go find it here. And this is just application user.id. Okay. This is the same. Let's see, I don't need that. Wasn't that the same file? Yeah, right there. So why is that on here twice? Where are you, Gray? Just because I set it down here somewhere? Oh, I see. I could just define it there. Alright, that's better. Anywhere else? Can I rerun this query? Alright, it's still there. So that looks the same. String format, application user.id. Make magic strings green on pink so they stand out. It's not a bad idea. There's an app-db context I don't need anymore. That's cool. Must have forgotten to pull that out when I did a refactor. So we can get rid of that. And get rid of this. Get rid of that. And probably get rid of all that green. What the heck is that doing? I don't know what that was doing, so I'm going to leave it for now, because that's not what I'm working on. Well, let's do one last search for that string, make sure I got it all. We should only be here in constants. So this blob storage photo URL, Control-Shift-F, find entire solution. It should be here. That's it. Alright, so that's good. So let's test it one more time. And by test it, I mean run it. And that still works. And that still works. And if I were that user, which I'm not, I am. I can go here, I can edit it, and all that works. Cool. Alright, so that was easy, as expected. It's great when easy stuff really is easy. Let's finish this. Refactoring to remove magic strings. Remove duplicate magic strings, commit, push, go back to my GitHub. 186 is what we're fixing. So compare and add avatar image to user details page. Fixes number 186. Create the pull request. And we're getting close to 2 o'clock, so I think we determined I don't actually need a reviewer. I do want my build to pass, but pretty sure that will. I'm going to wait for it anyway, just to make sure I don't blow up my site. Meanwhile, I'm going to go real quick, take a look at the production site and make sure it's still working. And I don't want to share necessarily all the private details of folks there, so that's why I'm doing it in a separate window while the build happens. So look at these details. Yeah, so far nobody in the production site is in the alumni role, so my leaderboard doesn't work very well there. Be cool to set up code analysis on this repo. What kind of code analysis do you want to see? Like end-depend or just like Visual Studio? Like here I can do analyze, run code analysis on solution. We can do that real quick. But I'm not sure that's what you mean, because you could do that yourself. Alright, so let's see. I need to go to members and find members that are alumni and add them to the alumni role, which now exists. And then do that again for me. We have a few alumni. Let's see if I missed anybody. Nope, I think that's everybody. So then the leaderboard now looks correct. Nice. Alright. So Evan, you should see that change right now. Oh, I see. You want to see how it works with GitHub Actions. So they work better with Azure DevOps, honestly, because Independ doesn't work with GitHub Actions right now. I think it's on their backlog. So, but SonarQube I think might. I've mentioned it to the Independ folks. But yeah, I don't see. Like I did a search for Independ GitHub Actions, and everything here says SonarQube, just about. Sonar Independ, Sonar this, Sonar that. So maybe that's the direction they're going, is they're going to somehow integrate with SonarQube to do it. The challenge is that Independ needs you to install it on a server with a license. Stream is getting choppy again. Yeah, it is. This is red now. That's unfortunate. Low buffering messages. Yeah, my internet is crap today for some reason. Let's do a quick internet speed check here. Run it. Like, downstream's fine. Fortunately, we're about done here for today, so. Upstream is crap. So this should be at least 5. And I don't know why it's so horrible. But I will complain to my Spectrum internet provider, and they will do nothing. Alright, my build failed. What happened here? I didn't actually run my build, my test locally, so let's do that real quick while I think about this. That worked. Alright. So what is the actual issue? Process exited. Unable to find package, component model annotations. Alright, what is going on here? Do you think only using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is for noobs? Depends if you're just building a static site, or if you're, you know, a front-end developer and you've got somebody else building you the back-end services. There was a time when it was certainly easiest to get started with HTML and JavaScript and CSS, but honestly, it's, you know, especially on the JavaScript side, there's plenty of depth in there. So there's plenty of experienced senior developers and even architects that pretty much live in just JavaScript land. So it's not a, you know, something that just new developers look at, and it's not like real development. It's definitely very real coding these days. All right, so is my issue that I need to upgrade my SDK? Like, why did this run locally but not here? No package exists with Visual Studio Offline packages. Visual Studio Offline. Why are you trying to use Visual Studio Offline packages? I don't know what you're doing. Alright, let's just pray that GitHub is bonkers and try it again. Because this build just worked like half an hour ago. The only thing I changed in the meantime was adding that avatar and changing some string formats. So that should be pretty straightforward. Certainly didn't change anything with the the packages, the NuGet packages that I'm using in this pull request. So come on, GitHub, do better. Yeah, so your spectrum at least gives you 6 up. Mine's been up and down, right? You guys, earlier at noon when I started the stream, it was bad. But then it was better for a while. I mean, I'll take 70 down. That's not terrible. At my office building that has fiber, I can get 600 down. It's the upstream that I need when I'm streaming. And, like, this is probably choppy for you right now. Didn't you have that error before? I've seen that error multiple times, yes. Yeah, so 1 megabit per second upload is not really doing it. Alright, while that's running, let's also pull up the live coders, Twitch people. And who's this coding garden guy? He's got 280 people watching him. What's he doing? He's doing chill codes. I guess I'm just not chill enough. But I don't know. I don't see any code at all. Clarkio, Montemagno. What's Montemagno working on? Peloton mobile app. Alright. I have Spectrum as well, and it's sporadic. Yeah, I mean it's residential cable modem. You're beholden to whatever hell people in your neighborhood are doing. So who's this Go Pirate person? Interesting. Is that Python? What is that? No, that's not Python. JavaScript? Can't see the file extensions, it's too tiny. I develop things. I don't know this person either. Laravel. PHP. Yeah, it's not really my thing. Let's see who's down here at the low end. Okay, that looks interesting, but not code. Next.js. French. C++. Let's do James Montam. Oh, let's do Clarkio. I like Clarkio. Oh, we're talking about dependency injection and version of control in TypeScript. That's not bad. That's good. Let's try that. All right, so we will go and raid Clarkio here in a few minutes as we get to the end of my 2-hour stream. Yeah, pirate person. Whoa. I know, right? Let's see if this thing actually builds. It should be good. It built. All right, good. So this pull request now is good to go. It was just a blip with GitHub. Squash, confirm, delete. Successfully did 2 pull requests today. Made some nice updates to the functionality. Added a new leaderboard. Refactored some direct DB context code out of my Razor pages and web UI and use the specification pattern instead. Next week, perhaps we'll go take a look at the specification pattern again, the actual repo. Pull that up. So if you're interested in learning more about that, go to github.com, whack Ardalis, whack specification. Viceni, who was on here earlier, he's still here. I see you, has been helping me a lot with this. But as he mentioned, we haven't done a new deployment in a while. So this 4.1 was 5 months ago. Wow. Yeah, so if not before, I will try and do a push for this. And hey, Viceni, we should add you here too. You should be on the authors listing here, which just means we need to add you to the project file. And I think it might be breaking changes, so it might be time for a 5.0 release when we do this. And then the other one that we'll try and do if I have time next week also is this Ardalis result package, which I think has got some updates as well that haven't gone out. So it's from also 5 months ago. Apparently I was looking at this stuff 5 months ago. But I think it's got some new fixes and things that need to be added to it. So next week, specification and result. This week, we're done doing some ASP.NET Core stuff. Have a good weekend. I will go and raid Clarkio here with you in just a sec. And we'll see what he's working on and say hey. And then I'll get to other things. So somewhere there's my raid channel button. Clarkio. Started the raid. And it's supposed to give me a countdown or something. Did it just do it?